was quite an introduction. I saw my life flash before my eyes. Thank you. Thank you. Mighty God, lover of justice, you establish equity. I heard those words from the book of Psalms, declared from the pulpit at Mother Emanuel Church, AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina last week. Mighty God, lover of justice, you establish equity. God loves justice. God is in the business of establishing equity and bringing justice and inclusion into our lives. Brothers, sisters, cousins, and friends, as you heard, I serve as the president of the Human Rights Campaign, which is the world's largest LGBTQ civil rights organization. But I'm your brother of the Methodist and the Baptist traditions. If you're confused, I understand. My parents could not agree on which church to attend, so I attended both. I sat in similar pews that you're sitting in today as a child and as a teenager, learning about faith and learning about God, but also learning about a God that did not love me because I'm gay. I had to find God on my own. I had to find the scriptures that validated me and my journey in this world. And my journey is not unique. Today, we are launching a national religion and faith tour that is rooted in a fundamental question. If God is a lover of justice, will people of faith stand with God and ensure that justice and equity are made available to all of us, regardless of skin color or creed, or sexual orientation, or gender identity? Faith is a core part of our civic life. However, the concept of faith has far too often been used to exclude members of the LGBTQ community, communities of color, and others from participation in both the public square and in houses of worship. Our new tour, which is titled Coming Home to Faith, A Search for Common Ground, is a summons to courage and action, to deepening our work of justice, to ensure that no one is excluded from the possibility of flourishing in all areas of life. St. Thomas, you have led the way for centuries in standing with God in the fight for justice. As the country has dehumanized and enacted horrors against Black and Indigenous communities, you stood as a beacon of hope and a manifestation of God's love. I feel a deep love today standing here. It is a powerful love. It's a radical love. It's a love that has seen the face of evil and refused to back down. It is a love on the mission in the justice of God. The Bible could not be clearer. Regardless of who you are, God would love you with an unrelenting, abundant, and a radical love. But we know this deep, abiding love is not being felt everywhere in this nation or the world. Across the country and across this world, there are some who advance a rhetoric of hate and a rhetoric of discrimination, all the while attributing it to God. But here at St. Thomas, we already know that this evil is not God. As we inch closer to November, in one of the most important elections of our lifetime, we must commit ourselves, people of faith, across this nation, from every religious tradition, to work for justice. That is the radical love that I'm talking about. the radical love that we fervently believe in, lifts us up from the pews and leads us to stand with the most marginalized and the most disenfranchised. Radical love means advocating for the rights of everyone, unconditionally. Radical love means making sure we are registered to vote and we exercise our right to vote. Radical love means ensuring that our neighbors are able to fill out the census. Radical love means showing up in unity in city halls, in legislatures across this country, and advocating for non-discrimination protections. Radical love means talking with people in your lives who you disagree with the work of justice and liberation, and compelling them to join us in advancing freedom and justice for all. Radical love means doing everything in our power to elect a pro-equality, a pro-equity, a pro-liberation White House, a pro-equity, a pro-liberation Congress this November, to ensure that no one is left out of the love and the justice of God. This is the inheritance we have received from icons of faith, like Absalom Jones, a revolutionary leader of faith who understood that radical love means action, not empty words. As the scriptures say, faith without works is dead. St. Thomas, Reverend Shaw, you have been and continue to be examples that faith communities around this country look to when we need to see what deep, abiding commitment to radical love looks like. On behalf of the Human Rights Campaign, on behalf of me, as a young boy who was sitting in those pews, but I couldn't find the radical love that I know of today. Thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. You may not know it, but your expression of radical love, your expression of radical love, your expression of radical love have saved lives. My prayer is this: that faith communities in this country and around the globe follow St. Thomas, follow the footsteps of St. Thomas, and this work of justice, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., draw a stone of hope out of a mountain of despair. In power and in peace, I ask you to continue to share a radical love of God as God does, and find common ground for all. Amen.
Thank you, Alphonso. And certainly I just want to recognize, as I introduced him earlier, one of the icons